Before we do anything else today, let's do a very simple low testosterone self-check. In the next 30 seconds, you're going to get a quick snapshot of whether your body may be showing signs that your testosterone deserves more attention right now. No lab report, no complicated medical terms, no guessing, just honest answers. If you are over 60 and you've been feeling more tired, less driven, less strong, less sharp, or less like yourself, this matters more than many men realize. Because low testosterone rarely walks into your life wearing a name tag. It usually shows up as a slow drift. Less energy here, less motivation there, a little less desire, a little less spark. And men often call all of it just getting older. I'm Dr. James Whitaker, and here is how this works. You are starting with a perfect score of 9 points. I'm going to describe 9 common signs. For each one that applies to you, subtract 1 point. At the end, you'll have a clearer sense of whether your body may be showing a broader pattern worth paying attention to. And stay with me until the end, because the number one mistake men make with low testosterone symptoms is the one that keeps them stuck in quiet decline for years. Let's begin. You start with 9 points. Number 1. Has your sex drive dropped noticeably compared with what used to feel normal for you? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 2. Do you feel lower energy on a regular basis, not just after a bad night of sleep, but as a persistent pattern? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 3. Have erections become less reliable, less firm, or harder to maintain than they used to be? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 4. Do you feel like your mood has changed with more flatness, less drive, or a creeping sense of discouragement? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 5. Have you noticed more trouble focusing, staying mentally sharp, or feeling fully switched on? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 6. Do you feel like you've lost muscle, strength, or physical power compared with a few years ago? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 7. Have you noticed less body or facial hair growth than before? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 8. Have you noticed breast tissue changes, unusual tenderness, or a softer body composition that doesn't seem to match how you used to feel? If yes, subtract 1 point. Number 9. Do you feel like your body just doesn't recover, respond, or perform the way it used to, even when your routine has not changed much? If yes, subtract your final point. Now look at your number. If you scored 8 or 9, that is a stronger starting point. You may not be showing many obvious signs of low testosterone right now, and that is good news. If you scored 5 to 7, your body may be sending early signals. That does not automatically mean low testosterone is the answer, but it does mean the pattern deserves attention. If you scored 4 or lower, please don't panic and don't feel embarrassed. Many older men live with these symptoms for years without ever realizing there may be a hormonal piece to the story. The goal today is not fear. It is awareness. Go ahead and write your score in the comments. I'd also like to know your age, where you're watching from, and which sign bothers you most right now. Is it low energy, lower sex drive, loss of strength? Save your score, because we're coming back to it. Now let me give you 1 minute of simple science. Testosterone is not just about sex drive. It plays a role in energy, mood, muscle mass, bone health, erections, body composition, and overall sense of vitality. Mayo Clinic notes that in adult men, low testosterone can show up as lower sex drive, lower energy, depression, less muscle mass, less body and facial hair, trouble focusing, and even loss of bone mass over time. Here is what makes this tricky after 60. Testosterone levels do tend to decline with age, but that decline does not affect every man in the same way. And not every tired, heavier, lower mood older man has low testosterone. Other factors like obesity, poor sleep, obstructive sleep apnea, certain medicines, chronic illness, and stress can also affect testosterone levels or mimic the same symptoms. That is why the pattern matters. Low testosterone is not diagnosed by one feeling alone. It is usually a cluster, several symptoms moving in the same direction at the same time. So now let's count down the 3 biggest messages your body may be sending when testosterone is part of the story. We're going from number 3 to number 1, and number 1 is the one most men dismiss the longest. Number 3 is this. Your body may be telling you that the problem is not just aging, it is reduced drive across multiple systems. This is one of the earliest patterns men notice, even if they do not use those words. They say, "I just don't feel like myself." They have less interest, less motivation, sex drive feels lower, energy feels lower, initiative feels lower, and because it happened gradually, they shrug it off. Here is how to notice this more clearly. Ask yourself whether the drop is showing up in more than one area at once. Is it just energy, or energy plus desire, just mood, or mood plus weaker physical drive? When multiple systems feel flatter at the same time, that pattern matters. What should you notice? Low testosterone often does not feel dramatic. It feels dulling, like the internal dial has been slowly turned down. Why does this matter? Because men often wait for one catastrophic symptom instead of noticing the quieter loss of vitality happening across the board. The most common mistake is blaming everything on age and nothing on physiology. If you need an easier version of this check, ask yourself one question this week. Have I become less driven in several areas of life, not just one? That question can reveal a lot. Number 2 is this. Your body may be telling you that the sexual symptoms are part of a larger hormonal picture. A lot of men focus only on erections. That is understandable. But if low testosterone is involved, the sexual changes often do not happen alone. They may come with lower libido, less interest, less confidence, lower energy, less physical recovery, and a more muted sense of responsiveness overall. Here is how to think about it more clearly. If erections are weaker, but desire is still strong, the story may be different than if erections are weaker and desire has also clearly faded. If performance is changing and your whole system feels flatter, that broader picture matters. What should you notice? Sexual symptoms connected to low testosterone often feel less like one isolated mechanical issue and more like a general reduction in vitality. Why does this matter? Because if a man looks only at performance and ignores the rest of the pattern, he may miss the bigger message his body is sending. The most common mistake is reducing the entire issue to one bedroom symptom while ignoring energy, mood, strength, and focus. If you need an easier version, ask yourself this. Is this only about erections, or does it feel like my whole system has lost some of its edge? That distinction matters. And before we move to number 1, if this video is helping you understand your body more clearly, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to American Urologist. It helps me reach more older men who may be quietly living with these changes but have never had them explained in practical, respectful language. And if you've made it this far, let me know in the comments which low testosterone sign you think men ignore for the longest. Now let's get to number 1. Number 1 is this. Your body may be telling you that loss of strength, resilience, and mental sharpness is part of the same story. This is the message men miss the most. A lot of men assume testosterone is mainly about libido. It is not. When testosterone is low, some men notice they are weaker than they used to be, slower to recover, less physically capable, less mentally sharp, and more emotionally flat. And because these changes build slowly, men adapt instead of responding. Here is what I want you to watch for. Are you losing strength faster than you expected? Do you feel softer and less physically capable even when your habits have not changed that much? Feeling more mentally dim than you used to? If several of those are moving together, your body is asking for a closer look. What should you notice if you stop minimizing this? Clarity. Because once you see the pattern as a whole, you stop treating each symptom like a separate mystery. Why does this help? Because the bigger picture is what makes the pattern meaningful. One symptom can be many things. Several linked symptoms moving in the same direction tell a stronger story. The most common mistake is waiting until everything feels badly broken before admitting something important has changed. If you need an easier version, remember this. Low testosterone is often not one symptom shouted loudly. It is several systems quietly drifting downward together. Now let me give you 3 daily boosters that can help older men think more intelligently about testosterone health. First, protect your sleep. Poor sleep and untreated sleep apnea can affect how men feel and may be linked with lower testosterone patterns over time. If your sleep is broken, heavy snoring is present, or you wake unrefreshed, do not ignore that part of the picture. Second, pay attention to body composition and movement. Loss of muscle, rising weight, and inactivity can become part of the same downward spiral. Even before any treatment conversation, that pattern deserves respect. Third, stop looking for one magic symptom. Think in clusters. Energy, libido, erections, mood, and focus together often tell you more than any one sign on its own. Now let's close the loop. Think back to your starting score. If you scored low today, don't let that disappear into the background. Recheck yourself in 2 weeks. Not because the symptoms will magically change overnight, but because awareness changes how honestly you observe your own body. Track whether the pattern feels stable, improving, or quietly worsening. Today, we talked about 9 signs of low testosterone after 60 that many men ignore for too long. We looked at how low testosterone can affect sex drive, energy, erections, mood, focus, muscle, and overall vitality. And we covered the 3 biggest messages your body may be sending when several of those systems begin drifting in the wrong direction together. This is not about panic. It is about paying attention before the quiet decline becomes your new normal. Your energy matters. Your strength matters. Your clarity matters. And the way you feel in your own body matters too. If this video helped you, share it with another man over 60 who has been feeling off but cannot quite explain why. And if you want to keep going, watch the next video on your screen, where I'll break down the truth about testosterone therapy after 65 and whether it is safe, risky, or life-changing. I'm Dr. James Whitaker. Stay informed, stay steady, and I'll see you in the next one.